As Gabe said, I'm reading for a friend, and he would like to say that he is very sorry he's not able to be here tonight. He loves Iceland and wishes he were here. I'm going to read poems from a book that has just come out called Erode, and the first poem shares the title of the book, Erode. The horizon fractures the eye into events. Streams of water during a heat wave, like mica, sparkle against the black ground. Quartz, grains of sand consist largely of ancient rocks, a watery fruit, weathering the bulk of what moves freely amongst crystal structures, as milk we thought he was drinking. Emit an ash into the air, causing a stir among the believers who'd been waiting for proof that he listens to you and was thus alive, or will forever live like any other stone. The next poem is called Shale. Dip seaward, spill into a mosaic on the cross-veined seam of sunstone, upward flourish of an undercroft. Effects of the wake reveal no orb, but a pattern beneath. Vortex in the eye prevails, deepening the green easterlies, steered by adjacent fires. An electronic river restarts. Thunderbolt. The prolonged rain on a sloping curve is the vehicle that incarnates as slow-drifting story. Whereas the white horse it hunts is an individual unable to make up its mind. Acting often on opposite effect, a weird wind between a horse running wild in the rain is a bolt trapped or otherwise. How I'll be able to trace shallow seas dare not disturb. When you are asleep, my skin absorbs the sun, retains a certain landscape. The way it melts is the opposite of how you open your eyes in the morning, unable to differentiate between the warm presence from this ice age, made possible by a single event. The next poem is called Hesychast. Cosmic imbalance manifests as riots over cities still warm from hands that open a door, spreading the light shock. A remnant pauses all over the sentence, as a gift misplaced in the meaninglessness of pleasure lingers, traces. Couldn't communicate the news because the clutter would muddle the meaning. Said the horoscope to the day, look closer. Constellations swirl in the sweetness of his spit. Oceans roar in the salt of his sweat. We're breathless without his words. Can only tell the story in reverse, to create a future without memory, who went into the closet to pray and left a bell ringing for spiritual awakening over a bevy of boys in an elliptical path. Their fingers begin to look like yours, or like a landscape you used to visit as a child, each time you draw strengthening the past caught in a film of dust, and thus related to the underpass over which his body's movement, a rhythmic action, can only be described using a handful of drawings. Alive between two pauses, things that determine the length of my stride, a balance from which evolve elaborate wings over an infinite number of relics. He didn't move, he rippled. He said even his muscles had muscles that had been smoothed out and only the seams of the gown were exposed to the air. Not seen as a continuous thing, but resistance over which the body stays afloat. A tangent where the entire edge moves so freely, it becomes corner of an eye, an open window and foil, invisible views where young monks set themselves on fire. The last poem I'll read is a little longer. It's called Moniker. where each silence suggests new states of being together, difference between desires to carry on a sort of conversation that has no name under the spread of the impersonal would have disappeared upon naming. Putting together seasons to unfix the golden underside, a group of muscles in the engraver's eye is beaten into the shape of a thin gold leaf, set to destroy the fine weather of a picnic. On one side of the sheath, shadow, and on the other, connected to the sheath, was the sun himself, breaking through veins, heaves a path of subdued interests. Most probable uncertainty emitting this atmosphere looks for an instrument of passage in Morse completeness. Decorative homophones babble a new form of politeness. Parks to enact for a moment the abrupt goodbye. And the coast is a single line frayed by the noise from which conversations come as a gift, and cities bear fruit like weather hangs like bridges across distance magnified by the moon, brighter than it has been in decades. Catching at the bow of the vessel, shed some skin or become a rock's modus operandi, an overlap, uphold filthy and forgotten jewels. Compare in moving the slender snake in a glance between two photographs. So many of you I already do not know, like unnamed constellations existing as energies within the body. Or like 3 strands of the stream pleases the child of 3 roads who renounced attraction for worldly cruising, urging me to cook up for someone else, his love for his lover's whip. The young man's hair rushes out of the village, signifying a withdrawal from the visible world. His hips naked in the cold sea are absent in any mode of making love. He covets the pleasure in the lotus, its 100 petals, a place in the night where the object exists without being identified. And Ratna never means jewel in the Rig Veda, though the lotus or the thunderstorm, on the other hand, show the conversion of sound to sight that would seek what sort of ideal mate buzzing like bees chant, and the reluctant glass withdrew a reflection in return, is an insight into the mysterious. Each note hung on the web of a sentence largely imagined. The child holds the camera in a series of photographs that feign togetherness, in which the colors erase a distance famous for all it holds together, like a soft voice over the telephone, deciding in a haste to give the event asked of the sanctioned body. Emitting such frequencies as habit works from within and cannot be named until repeated enough times at the same time each day.
Thank you, Amanda. That was on behalf of Biswamit Dwibedy.